welcome back to the channel. And it might look like we're going to work on the project today, but we're not. We're going to take advantage of the car being empty to show you how to wire relays properly. So what we're going to do, I think, is something very common. We're going to add fog lights. Let's get into it. So if you've been following the build series, you'll recognize this as a done feature of the build, but we're not going to use this battery today. What we're going to do instead, is I think this more closely approximates most vehicles, is we're going to use this battery that I've just propped up on this box. Let's get some battery terminals on there. Right. Let's go over the main parts really quickly. We have a switch, right? Just 2-pin switch for turning lights on and off. We've got the relay connector, the pins, the relay, and the fuse holder. So one of our first tasks is to decide where all this stuff is going to live. So how cool is that? Super simple, very compact.
The scrolls of standardization.
Now you guys didn't really think I forgot about the scrolls. With that out of the way, let's take a look at the diagram that we're going to be working with. This is not the most efficient way for drawing the diagram, but it does more closely approximate what you're actually going to see in reality. The very first wire we're going to deal with is the wire from the battery positive to the fuse. Let's get that wired in real quick. Even though I won't be actually using this system when completed on the car, it's always important to do a good job. We are putting it on the outside so that the wire doesn't have to cross over the other wire to reach the relay later. These Metri-Pack connectors are pulled to seat, so this requires a little planning ahead. Here I'm just pointing out the tang orientation. And don't forget your wire seal. And a quick final check that we have the wire length proper. Next, we need to bring power from the fuse to the relay. We're going to bring power in from the fuse to pin 30, but we also need a tiny amount of positive power for pin 86. Now there's no point in fusing pin 86's lead separately from pin 30. This is a pretty normal practice. What we're going to do is crimp both wires into the pin that goes into the fuse, and then they will be separate on pin 30 and pin 86. Now throughout the video, you'll notice most of this footage is sped up. This is just to compress time. You could slow it down if you need to see more detail. Now you wouldn't want to make this loop too short here, otherwise it'd be very hard to unplug the fuse later. In goes pin 30. And of course now pin 86. Now it's true you can do any of these steps in any order you want. I decided to go ahead and finish off the coil wiring, just to have that done and out of the way. So we need to run a wire from pin 85 all the way inside the car to a switch that will then be grounded on its other terminal. This will give us control over the relay's coil. Now, because there's no interior in this car at the moment, I've just zip tied the switch to the side of the center bracket. And off camera, I just made this simple little ground for the other side of the switch. Here you can see that wire that comes from pin 85 through the firewall, through these hangers, and just to the switch. Now let's get the other end of this wire crimped and plugged into pin 85. So the coil portion of the relay is finished. Now let's get the fog lights themselves wired up. First, we're going to have to put the connectors actually on the fog lights, and then we're going to start wiring back towards the splice. For the purpose of this demo video, we are going to use Deutsch DT connectors. If you need to know all about them, how to crimp them, what makes them tick, you can click the card above and it'll take you to a video to tell you all about them. And since we'll be mounting these, we need to drill a couple holes. And as you can imagine, both sides are done the same way. Now that the connectors on the actual lights are mounted, let's get some wire pulled. And yes, it's true, many feet of TXL wire were harmed in the filming of this. And just getting one of the connectors assembled here. And here's where our wire splice will live. And as mentioned before, here's where the two positive wires are spliced together for the fog lights, and both ground wires are spliced together for the fog lights. And don't forget the adhesive backed heat shrink. We can get that on now before we lose the opportunity. Let's get the section in the engine bay from the connector to the splice completed now. Once again, it's just a Deutsch DT 2-position connector. Now hopefully this doesn't confuse anybody, but we're finishing this out here outside the car. It's much simpler than fighting the car. With this section completed, we now have a T-shaped harness that feeds both fog lights from the connector in the engine bay. We'll just pull this through here, and then we'll fish it through the hole into the inside. Now we need to feed power and have ground available at that connector in the engine bay. So first we're going to bring power from pin 87 to the connector. And now we have completed pin 87 on the relay. That's all 4 pins. And of course we need to bring ground back from that connector to the negative terminal of the battery. Alternatively, to bringing this wire back, we could have grounded both fog lights to the chassis metal somewhere in the front of the car, but this is much simpler just for the demonstration. And now normally you wouldn't have to do this, but because this battery is not actually grounded to the car with a main battery cable, we do have to add that. So we're just going to add a wire to the strut tower ground. And of course your normal ground cable from your battery to your chassis would be something like a 4 gauge, 2 gauge, maybe a 2/0. But we're just running these fog lights, we don't need anything that big. Let's get that fuse in there so we can power up the system. And same thing with the relay. Now it's time to plug it into the socket. And that's how you wire a relay. The only thing left to do now is kind of clean everything up and make it look like we've actually installed something worth having. Now it's up to you, but my method for closing up harnesses is I just put a little bit of tape here and there to keep everything still. I put covering on it, I tape the ends, and I do not fully tape the entire thing because I might want to open it one day. Taping up the whole thing is kind of a double-edged sword. It might keep things from getting in there, but anything that does get in there can never get back out. So choose wisely. And let's get some proper mounts on there. Just some fir tree zip ties. And now you know we're coming through with those flush cuts. And there she is, all closed up and ready for action. So hopefully this paid off. An empty car and taking the opportunity to show you what this looks like as a standalone system.